And what is going on, everybody out there, all of you beauts and beauties? It is episode number 88 of Hat Trick Hockey, which is always brought to you by our good friends over at GL Heritage, the official beer of Hat Trick Hockey. Also, if you want to just smash the link there on the post for this episode here, you can log right into our store to get all your sweet HTH merch. So you check that out as well. This obviously being episode number 88, it's the Eric Lindros edition of Hat Trick Hockey. Eric played 760 games in the NHL, 372 goals, 493 assists, 865 points. He was over a point a game also through his 765 games. He was a 91 first overall pick. He's an OHL and Memorial Cup champ. He's a Olympic silver and gold medalist. He's a two-time World Junior gold medalist. He's a World Championship gold medalist. He's a Hart Trophy winner, Ted Lindsay winner, as well as inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2016-17. It's another one of those long resumes. I'll bring in Rob, my boy, my line mate. Rob, what's up, dude? What's going on? How's things?
Good. That dude was a stud, man.
Guy was a machine. Obviously, his career cut short due to congies, right? So
yeah,
kind of sucks because he was one of those guys that I would have liked to see play longer, but
he skated with his head down a lot.
Yeah, he did, and he got punished.
When Kasperitis can knock you out with his shoulder, like when was Kasperitis 5'10"?
Yeah, Kasperitis got him. Scott Stevens got him. Didn't Fleury get him too? Like Theo Fleury got him too. I'm pretty sure.
I'm not sure. I don't remember seeing that one. But I just remember like the smallest defenseman in the league catching him with his head down, and Eric was 6'5".
Yeah, he got
and he was the first one to decide not to go to a team. At the draft.
Yeah, that was pretty nuts too.
So then our boy Todd Warner was the next one to get drafted, and they gave him a standing ovation
just for sliding on a jersey
in Quebec.
Just for sliding on. Then he was escorted out of his hotel.
Yeah. Shit happens. Gets away from you sometimes.
Yeah. That's funny though. So how was your weekend, your week so far? Now we're recording on a Wednesday here for back to our Friday episodes now that things calm down a little bit here for us. So
I think I explained all my weekend last episode. So that was on the Friday, but yeah, taking it easy.
Just hanging out the rest of the week type deal.
Yeah, gonna go catch Flyers game tomorrow. Gonna go chill out on Brinko's patio before the game and have a couple of green pints and grab some food there. One of our sponsors.
Love Branko's. So food's so freaking good.
I'm gonna crush some bites.
Oh, those Branko bites. It gets real fucking dark between me and some of those Branko bites. Oh. I could eat.
I bring him to the Meg meetings. Oh, I could too. Grace could.
Yeah. What do? You bring those into the Meg meetings there?
Yeah, every once in a while.
Oh, the boys probably love those.
Oh yeah, they don't last.
No, they never will.
Bunch of farm animals I hang out with.
My hockey team, we fucking tied on Sunday. We tied.
You suck.
It pissed. So now we're 2-0-2. So we're still up a game, we're still up a point in first place right now for the playoffs with only 2 games left. We have to win one of 2. I think will automatically throw us in the finals.
Nice.
So, but the part that sucks is this week we're playing a team that's really good that we've kind of struggled with this year. And then the last team, we beat them last time, but they didn't have one of their best players. And he's the type of player that if he comes back and has a good game, it could be good night Jim Kite for us. You know what I mean? And that player is Chad Mayran. So Dean that we had on the show, it's his brother that plays on red. And he's the type of guy who could steal a game by himself if he gets on a roll. Right. So it's not, I'm freaking out a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I just want us to clinch. I just want us to get in.
Go fight him. Go fight him. Get him off the ice.
Fuck no. But I just want us to get in.
Breaks off. Yeah.
So our league, the rules are too strict on fighting. So real quick, before we jump into the hockey stuff, we have a new sponsor. It's Snyder Automotive in Harrow. They're on the 3rd. We'll be dropping a post probably. Well, it's probably out now because I'm going to probably do it when I'm done this. So check out Snyder Automotive. They're on the 3rd and Harrow. They've been around forever. They do every service imaginable to your car, everything. I've never heard anything bad about this shop either. So that's kind of one of the other reasons why I wanted them on with us as well. And it's nice that we didn't really have an auto place. So now we have an auto shop on with the boys now too. So we got a couple other sponsors that we were just talking about off the air that will be announced later. But yeah, so welcome Snyder Automotive. They're one of our sponsors and our like hockey league as well. So now they do our hockey league. They sponsor our pod. They do a bunch of kids stuff as well in Harrow, sponsor stuff too. So they're pretty big in Harrow. So it's nice to have them on with us. So welcome to Snyder Automotive.
Welcome. Yeah, that's awesome.
So
love taking care of the hometown people.
Me too. I love it. So let's hop into it right away. Local here. We'll start kind of local. 73s with the sweep.
It's fucking awesome.
Right? We kind of figured that was going to happen, right? They had owned that team all year. Who'd they play? Petrolia, I want to say, right?
Yep.
And they own them all season. I don't think they beat the Threes once all year. I think Essex just owned them all year. So we kind of expected a sweep there. So do we know who they're waiting on now?
No, not yet.
We don't know. Okay.
Nope.
So stay tuned.
Don't you have the like those series of what they're at there online?
Yeah, but I don't know if they reseed and stuff after. Right? They might reseed. So depending on who they play, or like I'm not sure how it goes after the first round. I know it was 1-8, 2-7, like stuff like that. But I don't know if they, once the first round's done, if they reseed them and then do the same type thing, or I'm not sure how it's done. So stay tuned and we'll let you know as soon as we know. We'll also throw it up on our page as well. We're going to follow the Threes the whole run here. So we'll have everything on our page. So keep an eye on our page for 73s updates. So good job, boys. Now rest. If you guys got any wounds or anything, now's the time to let them heal, and let's fucking get right back at her. So make sure you guys go check out the Threes games too, now that everything's going to be lifted, right? So now they're serving beer, snack bars open, everything's back to normal in there. So let's go. Let's fill the joint.
Yeah, I went to see their game on Sunday, and it was awesome. They had a slow start, but end up pretty much just mopping them.
I seen like a lot of the guys on the show had a big series.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Like fucking Smitty. Like how many goals did he get? Every goal, it seemed like it was.
I think he had 5.
Every goal I seen online, it was either Smith from Chittle, and then it was Chittle from Smith, and then it was Shirk from Hall, and then Hall from Shirk. It was like that the whole series.
Yep. They played really well.
So the boys had a hell of a round. So that's good.
Their D played very well too.
Yeah. Yeah, they were getting help from all over by the way it looked. So,
and the bar's open.
Yeah. So let's fucking go. Into the NHL. Obviously the big story, Austin Matthews got 2 games for his cross check. I've been kind of waiting to hear what you kind of thought about this, Rob. Do you think 2 games was necessary? Do you think it was too much? Obviously you're not going to think it's too little, but do you think it was too much, or do you think he should have been fine? What do you think?
He got what he deserved. I think agree. But remember, the guy that he cross-checked in the face, Edlers, what was his name?
Rasmus Dahlin.
Oh, so way off, -1. Matthews buried him earlier in that.
Yeah, he threw a nice hit on him. Yeah, he smoked him.
And then he came back and did an interference, and Matthews snapped. Wires got crossed, and
in the neck.
yeah. Like you could say he tried getting him in the shoulder, but I think he was going for his head actually. But
yeah, me too.
Wires
crossed. The thing is, though, is like I said it online and people were like, oh, so all you Muppets online, I said, listen, if they just fight there,
he's not going to fight.
I know, but I'm saying that's a pretty good matchup for him in a fight, because that guy's not exactly a fighter either.
No,
if those two fight, though, think of like say it all the time. It's going to happen. Eventually, I think he's going to fight somebody. It's going to happen.
I don't think so.
He's a big guy. I think he can handle himself against Rasmus Dahlin.
What if he fights though and breaks his wrist? Now what?
Well, he's kicked out for a few games. So how good's he doing his team anyways?
Well, he gets 2 games better than six weeks.
Drop your gloves, Matthews. Pick up your rep. Quit being a pussy. Drop your fucking mitts. I would like to see him fight. He's a big guy. You got to, it's like almost being in the yard there on when you're in jail. Once in a while, you got to shank somebody. Pick up your rep. I think he needs something like that.
You been to jail?
No, I just mean I'm just using it as a little example. You just got to pick up your rep a little bit. But I would like to see him drop the gloves, man. Show some fucking passion. Jesus. He's not going for the Lady Bing here, is he? He ain't now.
No, not with that suspension.
Definitely out of the talks there, but he's also in his first 6 years in the league or something. He's like 3 or 4 of his first 6 years in the league. He's got 40 plus, like 40 plus tucks for him. So that's he's the real deal, man. Speaking of tucks, Ovechkin netted his 767th goal. He now stands alone 3rd all time. He just passed Jaromir Jagr. So Jagr actually gave him a nice little video tribute, which was pretty nice for his 767. So Wayne's in front. Wayne's at like what? It's like 891 or something.
Yeah, I think he's like third. I think he's. Didn't I see or hear like he's only 35 goals behind him or something like that?
He's like 30 something goals behind Gordie Howe.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
And then he's got about almost another 100 before he hits Wayne.
Yeah.
So I think he at this pace he'll do it. It might take him another 2-3 years to do it, but I think he's gonna do it at this pace. I think he will. So definitely keep an eye on that. He's a sniper. So real quick, I was kind of upset when I seen this. Being a Red Wings guy, Yzerman says that they're pretty well open to deals at the deadline, and one of those including is Tyler Bertuzzi. So I'm not sure how I feel on it. He listed a few others, but he was by far the biggest name on the list for the Red
Isn't
Wings.
Bertuzzi one of your studs?
Yeah, that's what worries me. So, but Yzerman said it's not off the table. Speaking of trade deadline stuff, have you heard? It seems like the fucking Leafs are in on everybody. It seems like the Leafs are in on everybody. Like how? They got like 5 cents a cap room.
Well, I don't understand it either. Like, and they're looking for a defenseman. They're looking for a power forward. Like, what do you need more offense for?
Yeah, they need either a D or a goalie.
You don't need more offense. You need a D or a goalie. Yeah.
If you had to choose one, which one would you?
I don't
do?
understand. Fuck.
If you could only afford to do one, are you going to keep your faith in the goaltending and grab a guy on D, or are you just going to say fuck it and grab a goalie?
I don't know. After I saw that kid's performance there, that shutout and all that,
but
I'd go for a solid D man. But yeah, I'd go for a goalie. But there's no real, number one goalies available.
Did you hear who they were possibly after besides Fleury?
No.
St. Louis, Jordan fucking Bennington was in their radar, I guess, too. So I believe this is when I wish we had fucking pumps on with us, because he'd be able to explain all this to us. So how it is no matter who they trade for or whatever, the team or whatever, they have to do like a 3-way deal or something where the teams can retain salary.
Right.
So I think the Leafs can afford to put out like $1 million or $2 million maximum, like in a deal. But I think that's about as far as they're going. So technically they could get Fleury for like 1.75, but Chicago would have to retain some of his salary, and then maybe they could put a little bit of it elsewhere, right? To like Arizona or something like that.
All right.
Well, I don't know. I think that's going to be the only way that they're going to be able to get somebody in. But if I was the Leafs, and I'm honestly going to say, if they don't make it out of the first round this year, Kyle Dubas is gone.
So not only him, why wouldn't Brendan Shanahan be gone?
Maybe they'll give.
He's been there longer than Dubas.
Yeah, I know. You know what's going to
It's
happen?
supposed to be a 7-year fucking deal.
You know what's going to happen if that happens though? If Shanahan's gone, he's going to go to Detroit. Watch.
Yeah.
I think that's what will happen. The Wings seem to have a bunch of former players in office. Like they got Draper in office now, Malpe's in office, Yzerman, Lidstrom. Like they got all these former guys in office there now. But I like
Toronto
Shanahan's
management
hockey.
is like fucking Detroit management, the Lions. You know what I mean? Just can't get it done. Or in Edmonton, you know, you got all the talent in the world, but you can't pull it together. And there's a reason why.
Because they blew their load on fucking 5 guys.
I heard 5 guys is really good.
As crazy as that sounds, right? They blew their load on 5 guys. But I mean, like, yeah, but that's a lot of salary fucking for 5 guys.
It is. So they're all selfish contracts, you know. Fuck, whatever.
I still say trade JT. I still fucking say trade him. Trade him.
Well, you can trade Austin Matthews too, and he's going to be gone anyways. What's he got 2 years left in his contract?
Yeah, but I don't think he's going I think if he goes to Arizona, it's going to be like to end his career. I don't think he's going to go anytime soon. Look at Arizona right now. It's a fucking mess there. Right? Although they've been hot lately.
They're playing very well right now.
They fucking smashed the Red Wings, like bent them over, no spit, no lube, fucking sandpaper finish with the Red Wings, 9-2. I think they've won like 3 or 4 straight now, and they're beating teams that are like legit.
They put 4 up on Montreal in the first period the other night.
Here's a crazy stat about my my like Red Wings that's not good is 11 times this year they've allowed 6 or more goals. That leads the league. 11 times. Think about it. They've only played, let's say, 55 to 60 games. So think of 1 in every 5 or 6 games, the Wings are giving up 6+.
That's a lot.
Not good. Not the good. So
do you want Mrazek back?
No, we're okay. I like our 2 in net. It's just we're just slowly building up. Like these Red Wings still have all this cap room that they haven't even fucking touched.
They get a lot of shots up too.
Yeah. So we'll see. But as for some of the other trade deadline rumors, like I don't know, as much as they're saying Marc-Andre Fleury's going to stay put, I see him on the go. Chychrun now, I think it might have slowed up his process.
Well, why wouldn't they trade him? He doesn't want to be in Chicago.
But he said he would finish out the contract.
Well, what's he got? Another year?
Yeah. I can see him moving though to take another shot at a cup. Why wouldn't you? But if he goes to Toronto, like him and freaking Campbell can be like 1A, 1B type deal, right? Because Fleury's that type of guy that could steal you games too.
Absolutely.
Which is what Toronto needs.
But he's also old. Like, what's his next contract going to look like? It all depends on what he wants to do, right?
If you had him right now, would you start him?
Fucking A.
That's what I mean. Fuck the age, the whole age issue. Who cares? The guy still fucking can steal games. You can still be a factor.
Who would you make your backup? Campbell or Mrazek?
Probably Campbell. It's not even in the fucking ballpark.
Campbell's hurt again.
No, I know, but he's back in 2 weeks. Maybe this little bit of a rest will help him. Maybe he'll come out like he was at the start of the year again. Maybe he's just burnt out, wore out.
Well, that could be because he played a ton of games last year and he was the best in the playoffs last year for Toronto, best player on the team.
Toronto was fine in the playoffs last year. They just couldn't fucking score.
Yeah.
Couldn't score goals. Now they're scoring
their
goals.
Big guys go away when the game gets rough.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Nylander was good. Nylander, he was playing. He played well.
And what's his name got hurt there? Captain got hurt.
Johnny T.
Johnny T got hurt, and Matthews and Marner were fucking non-existent in the playoffs last year.
Matthews had 1 goal and 4 assists or something like that.
I don't know if he even had that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he had that.
So it was pretty crazy, but I don't know. If you want to, should we go over to our interview? Got a tough motherfucker on here with us today, man. I looked up this guy's YouTube videos. My God. So this interview is brought to you by Houston's Training and Fitness Center. You can get a one-on-one personal training It's a judgment-free atmosphere, protein shakes available and stuff on site. They got sick merch right there. They got group classes, and that is also located in the same building as the Harrow Arena as well. So be sure to check those guys out. They're amazing there, Mike and Jamie. So longtime friends. They did a great job at the gym as well. So be sure to stop in there and check it out. Packages are start as low as they're like $45 a month or something. So it's a pretty sweet gym as well. It's like brand new inside there. So it looks great. So on that note, we'll flip it over to our interview. Tough guy, Nate Kiser. Enjoy.
Roll it.
Well, this next cat here with us, he has played a little bit everywhere. He's played OHL, AHL, ECHL. He's a Phoenix Coyotes draft pick in 2000, ECHL champion as well. He's also crossed over and did some MMA as well. Let's welcome to the show, Nate Kiser. Nate, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. I appreciate you guys having me on. Yeah, it's good to be here. Looking forward to chatting with you guys, and yeah, great stuff.
Man,
Where are you living now?
So we live, me and my wife and my two kids, we live in Charleston, South Carolina. We've been down here permanently since 2007 when we bought our first house down here. We're on house number 3. We've got 2 boys down here that we're raising, my kids, Jackson and Xavier. And yeah, man, this place, I don't know if you guys have ever had a chance to come down south, but it's beautiful. The weather's incredible. The people are super friendly. It's got a little bit of everything down here, and it's a really special place.
That's awesome. Because you were born in Michigan, yeah?
Yep. Detroit area in Michigan. So where are you guys out of?
Just outside, on the other side of the border, just outside of Windsor.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, man. It's I've seen too. You started, you played 14U with CompuWare, right?
Yep.
How was that?
Oh, it was awesome. So growing up, I played for Little Caesars, and then I played for CompuWare. And those two were really the big AAA programs growing up. And yeah, we traveled all the time. We were in Canada, it seemed like every other weekend playing. So had a lot of great experiences, got to meet a lot of great people, played against a lot of great players. And the hockey world is as big of a world as it is. It can also be a small world. So yeah, a lot of great times growing up, playing, traveling. Yeah, it was a blast.
Mm-hmm.
You're like 3 people away from Kevin Bacon, right?
Exactly.
Oh, that's funny. Hey, so what just got you hooked onto the game? Just like what caught your eye with it when you were young?
So my dad actually got me in skates when I was 4 years old, and Michigan is a pretty big area as far as hockey is concerned. They call it Hockey Town, obviously, but yeah, started playing when I was 4 years old and just fell in love with the game. And as I got older, it was just, regardless if we were playing on a pond or playing with your team or playing street hockey, it was just something that we always loved doing, had a blast doing it. And as I got older, obviously the competition level increased, and yeah, had a lot of fun. And hockey's given me so much. As far as just a person, and outside of just being an athlete, just a person in general. So you get to meet so many different people, get to travel all over the place. And, a lot of my childhood was, playing hockey, and so many great memories doing it.
So I'm going to assume
a rink rat, eh?
Yeah. Yes. All the time.
So I'm going to assume you're a Red Wings guy.
Definitely grew up a Detroit Red Wings fan, man. Yeah, absolutely.
My guy. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, look at Rob over there shaking his head with his upside down.
Just delete me off this. Delete me off this interview.
Love it though. I love it.
So now, how do you get involved in travel?
I think so growing up, I just played kind of like AA, and then I got to try out. My first big break was I tried out for Little Caesars, and I was actually a forward growing up, and didn't make the team as a forward, but they brought me back and said, hey, we want you to try out as a defenseman. Wound up making the team, and I spent the rest of my life playing defense, but that was really my first exposure to travel at that level. So I had never really played on a team where everybody wore the same equipment. Little Caesars, especially in the area that I grew up in, was was a very big name, and if you played for them, it was a pretty special thing. So yeah, my first year
it still is.
Yeah,
big.
I've been away from home for a very long time, but I see some of the guys on social media that I used to play with that help coach back home, and seems like that franchise is still doing really well, which is awesome.
So now is that how you like? Is Little Caesars affiliate of it would have been the Plymouth Whalers then, right?
So CompuWare was so there was Little Caesars and then there was CompuWare. CompuWare had a junior A program that I played for after playing. I think it was Bantam or maybe it was midget AAA. I went as a 15-year-old and played junior A for CompuWare, who was basically kind of like I don't want to say a feeder team, but kind of like a feeder team, a little somewhat affiliated to Plymouth. Obviously different leagues, but we would practice right before they would. We shared the same arena, locker rooms just on opposite sides. So not technically an affiliation, but you were still very close.
Because like around here, you have the Windsor Spitfires,
right?
And then you have the Vipers, who are like an affiliate, like pretty much all the teams around here from junior C to junior B are all affiliates of the Spitfires. You know what I mean?
Okay. Right. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. So that's ultimately growing up playing AAA, and then wound up playing junior A for CompuWare. And the year that I played, we ended up winning the national championship, which was a really cool experience. Yeah, it was a big jump from playing AAA and midgets to going to junior A, because now you're practicing every day. You're playing a lot more games, and you're playing against older guys too as well. I was 15.
Playing with grown ass men now.
Yeah, I was 15, 16 years old, and I think there were guys up to 21 years old, if I'm not mistaken, that played in the league. So there's a huge discrepancy between somebody who's 15, 16, and then you've got somebody who's 21 years old.
Right.
But that was instrumental in my development, especially the following year I would be playing in the OHL, which is similar because you do have some younger guys and you have some older guys too as well. So it's a big jump, but that definitely helped in my transition.
Now, how did you end up getting drafted into the O?
To be honest with you, I'm not sure exactly how it works, but I just know I went in the 5th round of the OHL draft to Plymouth, luckily enough. And yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't really speak with anybody. I'm not sure how the whole process goes down. I was just informed that I was entering the OHL draft. Plymouth had retained my rights, and it couldn't have worked out any better for me. It's roughly about 45 minutes away from home. And yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, that's perfect. Right, nice and close like that.
Yep.
So how old were you when you got into like your first fight on the ice, like straight up like scrap?
So the first time that I ever fought actually on the ice, I was 15 years old. When you're younger, you have these little skirmishes, and guys have helmets and gloves on. It's definitely not what I would consider a fight, but 15 years old, I was actually playing with CompuWare, and we went to a tournament, and there was a kid on the other team who had a reputation for being a tough guy, and he was going into the OHL as a tough guy, and we were younger at the time, but he definitely had that reputation. He took a run at one of our more skilled guys, and when he came out of the penalty box, the coach just said, "Hey, go have a chat with him." And it was literally the first time I had ever taken off my helmet, because we're wearing cages at this time, and dropping your gloves and having a fight. And I did really well. And from that point on, it was always something that I didn't shy away from a physical game. That was definitely part of my game. And I was extremely you get that adrenaline rush after your first fight. You're not exactly sure what's going on. You just know that you got in a fight. And I remember all the, when you get a pat from the boys afterwards saying, "Great job." And I remember I busted the other kid up pretty good. He was cut, he was bleeding. And I just remember looking over kind of in the middle of the scrap, and all the guys on my team are just leaning over the bench and just, tapping their stick. So, yeah, it was awesome. It was fun. And I was kind of hooked ever since. So, I would say it's definitely easier to get a feel for it when you do really well, as opposed to if your first fight, you just go in there and and you
Get
just
pumped.
get hammered down, you're probably not as receptive to doing it. Right? So, yeah.
Shattered orbital
Yeah,
bone. You're like,
yeah,
I don't want to fucking
exactly.
do that again.
Broken nose, missing
You just
teeth.
get one punched, and next thing you know, you're just laying down, looking up at the rafters, and you're like, oh, maybe this isn't as cool as I thought it was.
And the boys aren't stick tapping now, right? So,
Right, yeah, exactly.
what the fuck were you thinking? Read the
Right.
game notes.
Right. They're giving like the emoji like this. Like, yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
oh shit.
Oh, boy.
That's
It happened
funny.
again.
Yeah, not again.
Hey, you spent 4 years in the O?
Yep, 4 years,
4 years in
the
O.
in Plymouth, all in Plymouth. Yep.
Where did you get your first goal? Do you remember it?
I do not know. Yeah, that's a great question, but I do not have any idea where I got my first goal. I can assure you it wasn't a highlight reel goal because I definitely don't remember it, but it was probably just some slap shot from the point that ricocheted off 4 different people and then somehow found its way into the net.
All the other people, all the other
Yeah,
teams.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
See, next time someone asks you, you say you grabbed it at the back of your net and you skated
Yeah.
all the way through everybody and you went bar down. That's
Yeah.
that's
Well, anybody
on
who's
film.
ever met me or played with me is going to know that that is a complete fabrication.
That's worth a shot.
Hey, you know those highlight reels, Paul Coffey, you know?
Yeah.
Nothing like that.
Nothing like that. It was the complete opposite. I was actually dumping the puck in, and somehow it just
Went off the dash, or the goalie was behind the net.
I will say, as a pro, when I was playing in the ECHL, probably my favorite goal of all time was we were playing down in Florida, and a guy teed me up for a one-timer at the point, and this could not have missed the net any more than it actually did. It went so high above the glass that the goaltender turned around. It hit off the glass, bounced off his chest, and went in the net. True story. That may be probably my highlight reel goal. And if anything could sum up my career as far as the goal is concerned, that would probably be it.
Hey, that's just when you say, I meant to do that.
Yeah, exactly. When
So,
when I would take slap shots, the trainers and all the guys on the bench, they would always yell service like a tennis serve, and just because it was going to be hard and no idea where it was going.
That's funny.
Now, how old were you when you end up getting an agent?
Oh gosh, I was probably my 17ish, probably somewhere around there, 16, 17.
So you're in the O.
Yeah, I'm in the O. Actually, you know what? It was probably my first year in the O. Funny story about that. So Pete DeBoer and Steve Spott were my coaches the first 2 years in the O in Plymouth. And I guess I came in with a little bit of a reputation as somebody who doesn't necessarily take it seriously, because the year prior to when I was playing in for CompuWare, I wouldn't say I was 100% committed. Just I was 16 years old at the time, and I was just like, this is a lot. I don't know. Like I felt like I was missing out with a lot of life stuff with my friends. You're practicing every day, you're going to the rink every day, you're traveling. So it's kind of happened. Yeah, half in, half out, right? Yeah. And the first week with the team in Plymouth, and this is back when nobody had cell phones, right? So we're talking 98, 99, somewhere along those lines. So I was driving we had practice Saturday morning. We were doing off-ice conditioning. You had to be at the rink by, we'll call it 10 o'clock. I hit traffic, and like I said, no cell phones. I can't reach out to anybody, say, hey, I'm running late, I'm running behind, anything along those lines. Pull into the rink, and you're just like, oh shit. You see everybody out and they've got their gitch on and they're running around the parking lot. You're like, oh shit. So pull in, and the coach is waiting right there. Roll down my window. He goes, go home, we'll call you when I get home. I was like, got stuck in traffic, don't want to hear it. Go home, we'll call you when I get home. We'll call you later. So before I got home, they had left a message saying, come back to the rink and pick up your equipment. I'm like, holy shit. Like literally from the time that I left, they called and left me a voicemail saying, come back out to the rink. And
I got stuck in traffic again going home.
Like, yeah, I don't even have money for gas, and I've got to make this trip twice. So long story short, I did have an agent at the time. We wound up having a meeting with the coaches and myself and my parents at the time too as well. And they laid it out on the line. They said, listen, there's going to be 2 sets of rules. There's one set of rules for you, one set of rules for the rest of the team. If this happens again, you're off the team. One of the older guys, his name was Sean Fisher, a good friend of mine, kind of took me under his wing and said, listen, we'll roll together every day. We'll make sure that this doesn't happen. And that was my first year. So how could I best explain it? I worked extremely hard that year. My whole goal was to be the hardest worker that I could possibly be, chip in any way that I could. The following year, which was my second year, they gave me an A on my jersey. So the next 2 years I had A's on my jersey, and I was fortunate enough to be the captain my last year. So
awesome.
that little meeting definitely got me in the right mind frame. Like, if you're going to do this, you have to, there's so many people that want to do this and that want to play at this level. But ultimately get your shit together. So that's all it took. And from that point on, I was focused and did whatever I could to help the team in any form or facet.
Just a huge eye opener, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that just pulling up in my car in the parking lot and seeing everybody running out there is just, that's a gut wrenching feeling. And then when the coach says, "Hey, we'll give you go home, we'll give you a call," wasn't exactly a fun car ride home, but put things in perspective. Realistically, being 16 years old, that's what I needed. And yeah, from that point on, didn't fuck up again.
Yeah. Well, and how awesome was it? Your buddy who wasn't your buddy stepping up as a great teammate and, taking you under his wing and saying, "We got this."
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Sean Fisher, a good buddy of mine, and unfortunately you kind of lose contact as the years go on, but just a unbelievable guy, an older guy, just taking a younger guy under his wing. And as my career progressed, whether it was in the OHL or pro, I always kept that same mentality of help the younger guys in any way that you can, because ultimately I've been in that position before. And it was great for me.
And plus, you're probably going to save his ass at some point on the ice too. Right?
You know what? He wound up being my D partner a good portion of the year.
Oh,
and
sweet.
If I was throwing a shit burger up the middle, he was always the guy who was covering my ass and making sure that, he was back there to cover me on any odd man rushes. So
Serving up domino pizzas.
Exactly.
Throwing up pizzas.
Exactly.
Hey, I love asking guys, what was it like playing in the O and coming into Windsor?
Oh man, I was fortunate enough to play in the old barn. I know they've got this new arena, it's not new now because it's been a number of years, but I played in the old barn, and man, what an environment that was. That was you got the smaller ice surface. The crowd was always super loud. The neutral zone was literally non-existent. It was like they had just eliminated the neutral zone and you're basically just playing on both ends.
It was like 15 feet maybe.
Yeah, it was I don't know what type of regulations they had in the old barn, but it was great. I had a lot of great memories in there, a lot of because that was a huge rivalry for us, obviously, just being across the border. So a lot of tough games, a lot of great scraps, and that Windsor crowd, I tell you what, they are
ruthless,
most enthusiastic people. Yeah, I mean, if you needed a beer during the middle of the game, they would have no problem pumping one up. But it was awesome. I mean, gosh, if I would have played for Windsor, that would have been a fantastic place to play, just because the crowd is so into it, and they're so pro for their team, and they show a lot of passion. It was great. It was always a tough building to play in, but I always looked forward to playing there.
Not to mention, the worst of the worst would always sit up right behind the visiting bench.
Oh yeah,
the worst of the worst.
It's like
I imagine you heard some pretty good chirp there.
It's like, well, this guy looks like he's probably going to do something stupid tonight. Let's put him behind the visiting team's bench.
Oh yeah, all the crazy sat up there, man. It was always the section.
That's where all the fights started.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they'd throw shit at you
because like most of the Plymouth fans, that's where their tickets would be.
Oh yeah, makes sense.
So they were surrounded by all the fucking hooligans there.
Yeah. It was fun. A lot of great memories, a lot of really tough games, a lot of physical games, and a lot of fun.
I've seen.
Well, you had a really good team there in Plymouth for a couple years there, and Windsor had a pretty rough and tumble team too, right?
Yeah, so my first 2 years, both teams were very tough. My first 2 years, we wound up making it to the finals both years. So my first year, we lost to Barrie in Game 7 at home to go to the Mem Cup. And then my second year, we lost to Ottawa in Game 6 in Ottawa to go to the Mem Cup. So, we had really good teams, especially my first 2 years. And to come up that short was it was heartbreaking. It was tough. It was tough.
That sucks. Because you had some pretty good tilts with fucking Cam Jansen, eh?
My God.
Oh yeah, Cam. What a guy he is, and what a career he's had. And I was fortunate enough. Me and Cam, I actually went to camp in Jersey years later, and me and Cam hung out a lot, and we fought a bunch in juniors, and he was. We were always very cool about it and very respectful. We kind of we'd both be stretching at center ice or along the red line in warmups, just kind of, a little small chat like, hey, how's it going? How's it going? Good. You want to go tonight? Yep. All right, cool. And then always very respectful after the fights. Super tough dude, had an unbelievable career. But outside of being as tough as he was, man, that guy, such a good open ice hitter. He would just steamroll guys. And solid on his feet, eh? So solid, very fast, very strong, and obviously could just chuck him with anybody. So a lot of great fights with Cam, a lot of great memories, and good stuff.
Not much of a stick handler, but man, could he rack people?
I'll be honest with you, I'm not exactly teaching stick handling classes in the off seasons myself, so I'm definitely not one to critique anybody's ability. But man, like you knew, you could hear the footsteps coming if that puck got dumped in on your end, and Cam was coming. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. He seems like a really cool guy. I listen to his podcast all the time, and he's doing very well for himself even after hockey. Right?
I tune in to his podcast from time to time, and he's obviously crushing it post hockey career, which is awesome. I'm always so happy to see guys that I played against or played with have success after the fact, and down to the earth, really solid dude. So
has he ever asked you to come on?
No, me and him have not spoke. We're friends on social media, but we haven't spoke or really linked up or connected since, probably camp in New Jersey. But I always followed Cam's career. I was a big fan, just because of our little rivalry playing against each other. And like I said, I always enjoy seeing guys have success that I played with or against. So
he doesn't want you bringing up them videos. I watched them. You know what? I watched all three of them.
Our fights were always very fun, always very entertaining. I wouldn't say that there was ever really a clear winner. I would just say if anybody won, it was usually the fans. So
for sure, that's a great call.
Not a whole lot of defense in those ones.
Oh yeah, the old days, not a whole lot of defense. It was just the old punch in the face contest, and let's see who can
exchanging knuckle soothers, man. Jesus.
But it was. It was always fun. I always knew I would have my hands full whenever we were getting after it, and enjoyed our scraps. That's for sure.
So how was it for you leading up to the NHL draft? Did you know that it was going to be Phoenix, or was there any other teams involved? Did you do any interviews? What did you do?
No, to be honest with you, I wasn't exactly sure. We kind of had an idea as far as what round I would be going. I was kind of projected anywhere from the 4th to the 6th. I wound up going in the 5th. Just wound up going to Phoenix, and an awesome experience going to the draft. It was in Calgary the year that I went, and my dad went with me, and I think I had 3 other guys on my team that year that was in the same draft class, and those guys got drafted, and it was a very cool experience, especially being an 18-year-old kid to see that you got drafted into the NHL it didn't even seem real. So it was awesome, man.
Fuck yeah.
Just getting to hear your name now, that's amazing.
It's awesome. It's also very nerve-wracking too as well, because you're not exactly sure, unless you're a first round draft pick and you have a pretty good idea of where you're going. It's really you're just kind of sitting on the edge of your seat. I remember my dad actually had to physically get up and move away from me. He's like, I just can't sit with you, because you're just kind of losing your shit every time their name gets called. And you see some guy whose name you don't even recognize, and then they throw up his stats up there, and he's played 7 games and has 0 points, and you're like, what the fuck?
And I'm fucking better than him. I know I'm better than him.
Who is this guy? And
what the fuck is that guy?
I beat the wheels off that guy.
Is he even real? So but yeah, it was
a made up name.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
who the hell's bend over?
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
IP Freely? What?
Yeah.
Seymour Butts. Who the fuck?
Yeah.
So do you get to go to camp? Like what happens?
Yeah. So that year I went to Phoenix's camp. Really had no idea what to expect as far as just going in there. So initially I think we had like a rookie tournament, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So we played in that, and I can't remember if it was my first year, maybe it was my second year in camp. We went to, like, Phoenix had a team that took to Ottawa, and there was a few other teams that were there, and they would just play these mini scrimmage games. And but yeah, camp was a real eye opener for me because Jeremy Roenick was there at the time, Keith Tkachuk was there at the time, and obviously those guys are legends. And just not knowing what to expect, now is a lot different than it was when I played. I want to say back when I was playing, guys kind of use training camp to get into shape. Now it's just a full time. You have to be in shape all the time, right?
Yeah,
so,
right.
Show up in shape.
But yeah, it was a real eye opener, and a great experience to kind of kick off, what eventually would be my pro career at some point.
Who was your coach there?
Who was the coach in Phoenix at the time?
Yeah.
Fantastic question. I don't know. I will say this though. The year after I was drafted was the year that Wayne Gretzky had taken over.
Yep.
And actually got to meet Wayne. I was just chilling in the little hotel bar lobby area, just grabbing some lunch, and he came up to me and sat down, shot the shit, and and introduced himself, and just said, "I understand you're here at camp, and you're kind of in awe. It's Wayne Gretzky." And I was like,
yeah,
you really don't need to introduce yourself to me, sir. Big fan of your work. So
you didn't walk in and say, "I'm the great one." You didn't have to.
You were probably
there was actually like just this cloud over top of him. It was just like
the wings out the back and everything.
Yeah, it just had the gray one over top of him. It was crazy. There was like a halo.
Was he at the bar with Eddie Meal?
No, no. He was actually.
Him and Mio were good buddies, right? And he brought Mio in there to help him coach.
Right. Yeah. He was riding solo at the time, and just happened to be walking through, and was kind enough to take a little time out of his day to sit and chat with me for a minute.
That's pretty special. That's pretty special.
It was
and
awesome
that he noticed you, and who, you know what I mean, that you were there and trying out for the team and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he just knew that I was there on a tryout because it was the team hotel lobby, and like I said, just the fact that he took some time out to come in and introduce himself to a nobody, a young kid, just attending camp was, that goes a long way. So
yeah, you can cut me right now. I got to talk to the great one.
Yeah,
I'm out. That's so awesome.
Cool. Very cool experience.
Yeah, walking in there, seeing all those guys too, Roenick and all them, was probably just like, holy shit, because you kind of like grew up watching these guys.
Yeah, you know what was real? So I was fortunate enough to go to camp in Detroit my last year of juniors, and growing up in Detroit, that was really kind of the like, oh shit moment for me, because this was when they had Shanahan, Hall, Yzerman, Fedorov. We played mini scrimmage games. They would break it up into 4 teams. Nick Lidstrom was my D partner. Yeah,
never heard of him.
Yeah, is he good? Yeah, he good. Hey Nick, do you mind if I wear number 5? Yeah.
Here, kid, have it.
Yeah,
it's like the Mean Joe Green commercial when he goes to
right. So Nick, what do you want me to do out here? Nothing. Don't worry about it.
Throw as many pizzas as you want. I got it.
Yeah, so we would do these scrimmages, inter squad scrimmages, and then afterwards we would practice. So we were doing this. It's an awful drill for defensemen. It's where the forward starts at the hash mark down at the far end. The defenseman starts at the top of the circle. Defenseman skating backwards the whole time. Forwards just full blast, one on all the way down the ice. I happened to line up against a guy named Sergei Fedorov. Don't know if he was fast or not, but yeah. That wasn't,
Nike says he was.
That's not great for your morale, that's for sure. But no, I was just like, holy shit, this is this is going to be interesting. So yeah, he blew by me pretty quick.
You should have blew him up like Don Cherry did to what's his name in Toronto and never got to play hockey again.
Oh yeah, exactly. Just throw the old early hip check or clothesline. Yeah, that would have been great. But yeah, that whole camp was so awesome, and just like, I mean, you're playing with guys that you grew up idolizing, and it was a lot of fun, man. It was awesome.
That's so cool.
Cool. Like, man, Lidstrom was just so smooth, just so silky smooth. Like seeing him, well, when you're standing right there next to him and he's playing everything, but just to see how smooth he is. And I guess they say you can never dump it in past him, right? Like he would try. They say that he would always knock it down.
Yeah, it was like he's just playing on a different planet than the rest of us. Literally every pass would be a sauce pass right on your tape. Like wouldn't even bounce on the ice. It would just go right to your tape. And,
like Velcro.
Yeah, and just the fact that like he looks like it's effortless out there. It looks like he's not putting any effort in. But
here you go, kid.
Yeah, it's just like you could see why he's one of the greatest defensemen of all time. So yeah,
I put him in the top 3 for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, the guy never made a bad play, was never out of position, never panicked. And
did he ever sweat?
I don't know. If he did, I would have bottled that shit up and sold it. That's for sure. Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure. I don't know if he needed to sweat. So
yeah, no, just like how effortless he played, and he played like 30 minutes a game. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
30 minutes a game is just fucking outrageous.
It's insane. But I don't even know if he would come off the ice, to be honest with you. I think he would just kind of hang out around the boards during TV commercials and then just go right back out there. So, just one of my favorite players of all time, watching him, just because he made the game look so easy.
He was fun to watch. And I'm a Toronto fan. So, I hated but loved him, just how cool and silky smooth he was. Just like you said, effortless.
Yeah.
Like it seemed like he never, ever coughed up the puck.
Never made a bad play. And it didn't seem like he was the fastest guy, but he was just so smooth. It's like, It was almost like he wasn't taking strides. He was just gliding out there and was just always able to make the right play. It's like, I don't know how he's playing chess while the rest of us are playing checkers.
But okay, so like you walk into that dressing room. Now, are you with your group or are you with these guys like between periods or whatever?
Yeah, so how it started is they had a rookie tournament up in Traverse City. So it was all the rookies came in and we played against I think Minnesota was there. Atlanta was there and a couple other teams. And so we played 3 or 4 games. I fought 4 times in 3 games. I remember that. And then we had main camp afterwards. They said no fighting in main camp. It was just basically inter squad games, and then you would practice and that's how it went down. So it was so cool. It was a lot of fun. And just something that I'll never forget in reference to my hockey career.
Did you end up fighting in main camp?
I did not, no. But I actually, one of the coolest things was on the front page of the paper there was a picture of me kind of cross-checking Darren McCarty, who was, one of my favorites growing up, in front of the net, just trying to clear him out. And
I can't stand that prick.
I
owe him $100.
Oh man, what an unbelievable guy! And
he is a great guy.
I don't know if there's anybody who's given more to the city of Detroit than Darren McCarty. Like, I'm a huge Darren McCarty fan, and we all, if you grew up in Detroit, you all remember the big game against Colorado in Detroit when he went off there, Claude Lemieux, and
when Claude Lemieux beat him up.
What's that?
You said when Claude Lemieux beat him up.
I don't know if you watched the same game as us. But,
Did you watch that game in March, Rob?
Right. Yeah.
That's what I saw in my head.
The second scrap when Lemieux answered the bell right off the opening faceoff, I think it was.
That was a good fight.
He did really
good fight.
Yeah.
Strong as an ox, but
so
like how he took it the first fight, like I didn't understand that at all.
Right.
Like you did what you did, answer the bell, don't turtle. Like, and he did.
Yeah.
Pep turtled and it looked terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. But like he's been on our show 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
He's given big shout outs for us on his podcast and stuff like that. Like he's because he's from Leamington. He's just outside of Essex, where we live.
Yeah.
So he's
15 minutes
he
from
gives
us.
back so well, right?
Yep.
So
awesome.
I give a big shout out to Darren McCarty. Like he's a great guy.
Yeah, Darren McCarty's awesome, man, and he'll be forever beloved in Detroit. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
He's done a lot for the city, and the people and the fans just love him.
Absolutely,
dude. Look at your numbers in the coast, man. Look at the penalty minutes. Holy shit! Look at the. Let's see, in 144, 173, 174, 222, 169, 174. Fighting a bit or what?
I was fighting the puck a lot, that's for sure. No, man, it's just doing my job, doing whatever I could to help my team and make any impact that I could. And it was something that I enjoyed doing too as well. I enjoyed fighting. I enjoyed the competition and the battling aspect of it with another guy. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was something that I took a lot of pride in, and just showing up to work and doing my job every single night the best that I could.
What's actually cool is a lot of your career was with the same team.
Yeah, in South Carolina. Yeah, with the exception of my first year, which was in Dayton, Ohio. I was on a contract with Columbus's affiliate, so I was in Dayton and spent a little time in Syracuse. I went to camp in Columbus that year and actually played a preseason game, and then got sent down to Syracuse, and then found my way to Dayton. Spent majority of the year there, and then the following year was the lockout year, and so I had actually signed a contract with Portland and South Carolina at the time. They were affiliated with Washington, but it was the lockout year, so spent the beginning of the year in Portland, and there was just so many good guys, especially the year of the lockout. The depth chart was just insane. So, I would dress a handful of games and warm-ups and then not be in the lineup, and it was just tough to crack the lineup. Wound up getting sent down to South Carolina right before American Thanksgiving, not Canadian Thanksgiving, and man, there was when I left Portland, Maine, there was like 3 feet of snow. It was cold as shit. We got sent down to, me and my wife went down to Charleston. It was literally 75 degrees out. And I was like, holy shit.
I can get used to this.
Yeah, it was.
I found my home.
Didn't know what to expect going down there. I'd only been down south one time when I was playing. That was into Charlotte for like 1 or 2 games. And went down there. The city is beautiful. The beaches, you're right. You're right off the ocean. So there's beaches all over the place. They have a very loyal fan base here. It was a great arena that we got to play in, and just fell in love with it immediately. Me and my wife both did.
Hey, how do you go somewhere on a loan? I see that there was one game on a loan. Like, how does that happen?
So I got I'm trying to think, was that Albany or Lowell? I can't remember. Albany maybe. Yeah. So I think their tough guy got hurt or suspended or something along those lines. And I got called up, and we were playing against Portland, and a good buddy of mine, Trevor Gillies, is hands down one of the toughest guys to ever do the job. I don't know if you guys know Trevor, have had him on the show at all, but one of the best guys you'll ever meet, one of the toughest guys that ever played the game, without a doubt. And I had asked him during the game, and I was very fortunate that he gave me a shot just to make a name for myself. And Trevor ended up getting the better of me in the fight. I did pretty well starting off, and then just Trevor, he, like I said, one of the toughest guys to ever do it, ended up getting the better of me. And had a really good showing. Wound up hurting my hand that fight. Ended up getting sent back down to South Carolina, but they brought me into camp the next year because they like what they saw in that game. So they brought me to camp in Jersey the next year, and that's how that happened.
Sweet.
So
who was in the camp in Jersey?
Cam Jansen was in camp. Nathan, is it Nathan Parrott? Was another tough guy that was there.
You fought him.
I never fought him, Nathan Parrott. I never fought him.
I could have swore I saw that on one of the YouTube videos.
No, I'm trying to
think. Prost?
Then no.
Prost, yep.
Yeah, you're
Prost wasn't there, but I fought him in juniors.
I'm thinking of Prost.
I'm trying to think who else was there, but Cam was their guy. There was another kid who wound up playing there, Pierre-Luc LeBlanc, super tough kid. He was there too as well. I think he wound up playing in Jersey for a while, if I'm not mistaken, but technically a very good fighter, and as tough as they come.
Oh my God.
That was a pretty good team there too.
Yeah, really good
in
team.
Jersey.
Yeah, Marty Brodeur, apparently he's a pretty good goalie, so he was there.
Not bad.
Yeah,
He's got some hardware, eh?
I think so. Yeah,
I seen that commercial with that U-Haul. He's got all the fucking trophies in and shit.
Yeah, I don't want to brag. So at the beginning of practice, you know how you're just skating around. He happened to be standing in net. I don't think he was looking, but I just shot the puck in just to say I scored on Marty Brodeur.
Did you raise your hands? Because that would have been even better.
I did a little mini celebration internally. But 99.
All my hands were over my head, but they were beside my waist.
99% sure he wasn't even looking. So you take that for what it's worth, but it's still a goal in my book.
That's so awesome. It's still a goal.
Yeah.
Hey, what's the worst, like, I'm sure you've had freaking cuts and broken bones and everything, but what's the worst thing you ever got in a fight?
When I was playing juniors, we were playing in Sarnia. Off the opening face-off, fought a guy, can't think of his name offhand, but right off the opening face-off, broke my hand, third punch of the fight. I wound up punching him 13 more times with that same hand after it had already been broken. And that was probably the most pain I've been in. I wound up having to have a plate put in my hand. Funny story about that is, so the fight was awesome, like just toe to toe, and we're going, it was all offense, no defense. And when we went to the ice, my head fell and hit the ice, and I had a huge cut, like probably the width of my eyebrow, directly above my eyebrow. So when I got up, the place went bananas because they thought he cut me from a punch. And I was rattled. So in the locker room, I was trying to hide my hand from the trainer so I could go back out there because I wanted to fight again, because I was pissed thinking that the whole arena thought that he had cut me with a punch.
Right.
I actually fell and hit my head off the ice. That's what caused the cut above my eye. And so I was trying to hide my hand from the trainer so I could go back out there and fight again. Lo and behold, a couple of the guys were like, "Hey, check out Nate's hand. Doesn't look very good."
It's like a boxing glove.
5 times the size of it should have normally been. So wound up having surgery, and I think that was my last year of juniors. Wound up having surgery. Played a good portion of the year with a cast on my hand, which really sucked. But part of it. So that was probably the worst injury that I ever got from a fight was that.
How did you learn how to throw both hands?
Trial and error. So
you didn't take boxing or anything like that?
When I played juniors in Plymouth, we had a boxing coach. His name was Kirky, and he came in. He was there my first and second year, and he was there. And I thought it was such a big advantage to have a boxing coach in there to help guys, because especially younger guys, even guys that weren't going to fight, at least knowing how to protect themselves, to how to throw a punch,
right.
How to properly defend yourself, working on grabs, and just, learning how to technically throw a correct punch and feel confident in what you're doing, because, not everybody's a fighter, but you may have to fight at some point or another.
Now, Nate, was that after you broke your hand, you got to learn how to throw that punch?
That was all the credit goes to my opponent's head. It was a very hard head.
So. And his helmet. Now, did you have a like, was there a special trick to get the buckets off, or
we took our helmets off?
I saw so many of your fights where you're just spinning them.
Yeah, we until it kind of became a rule, I think. Like majority of guys, if you agreed to fight like a square off, guys would just take off their helmets. So, not necessarily preserving your brain, but preserving your hands. So, and it was always kind of a respect thing too, as well. But yeah, it just that comes with it. But as far as being able to throw both hands, it just comes with experience, just like anything else in life. If you're gonna do something, and you're gonna fully commit to something, that you've got to just kind of hone your skills and work on different things. And if I'm looking back in reference to my career from a fighting aspect, I wish I would have invested more time into doing stuff like that in the off season. Obviously, like when I transferred over to MMA, that's all that was. But with my MMA experience, I really wish when I was playing hockey, I would have, done boxing, would have done like jiu-jitsu would have been great because you get to work a lot with grips. There's so many different things looking back that I could have done, as far as just being prepared for that and technically getting better too as well.
Right, especially with jiu-jitsu, tying up the shoulder and the arm and
jiu-jitsu
choking them out with your fucking jersey, whatever, right?
It's all grabs. It's all positioning, and especially if you're working with a gi and you're grabbing the lapel, that can definitely translate over into hockey.
I seen Hoist Gracie do it. Like it was amazing. I never knew that you could use the gi to choke somebody out. And when I seen Hoist Gracie do it, I was like, "Are you shitting me?" Yeah,
I trained for an hour today. My jiu-jitsu coach is a high-level black belt. Used to fight in the UFC. He's a Brazilian guy, and man, it's if you don't have any idea what that world is like, it's a very rude awakening because you just realize how little you know. But all that stuff, it's in theory, but the game's different now. So guys aren't doing that. They're not focusing on that. That role is definitely diminished in today's hockey. And it's still a beautiful sport, beautiful game. I wish I don't follow it that closely anymore. I've got 2 young boys, and it seems like by the time I sit down and hit the couch, it's you're just exhausted. So
you can only take so many Nerf gun bullets to the head, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just trying to keep up with my boys is that's enough for me. So
how old are they?
So my youngest turns 3 this weekend. His name is Xavier. My oldest Jackson turns 6 in June. So they're an extremely fun
nice spread.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And my oldest was very shy and standoffish. His personality's, he's in kindergarten now. It's definitely starting to come out a lot more. He fell in love with Taekwondo, so he's doing Taekwondo. That's really helped bring out his confidence. But my youngest Xavier is a wild man. So he's just fearless. You cannot turn your back for 5 seconds with him because he's doing something. And he keeps mom and dad on the edge of their seat. That is for sure. Yeah.
Lock the cupboards.
Yeah. Oh, it's everything. We had to, on our pantry, we had to install a lock on it because he just goes in there and just starts rifling through things and
snacks.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like an episode of it looks like a scene cut out from the movie Half Baked, and he's just everything torn out. You're
crushed
like,
on the floor,
dude. I literally just walk to the other side of the room. How did you do all this? So
that's awesome.
He's a wild man.
My kid does the same thing, man. The snack thing all the time.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it is. It's a trip.
I seen 2008, 2009. You won the Kelly Cup there, right?
Oh yeah. What a awesome experience. What a fantastic team we had that year. And man, winning a championship at any level is always special, always incredible. And I was fortunate enough to do it as a pro with a great group of guys. Our coach was Jared Bednar, who's the coach of the Colorado Avalanche right now. He's the head coach there. The assistant coach was Cale McLean, who is one of the assistants in Pittsburgh right now. Spencer Carberry was one of our forwards who is an assistant in Toronto right now. Patrick Weller was one of our defensemen. I think he's an assistant in Hershey. He may be the head guy, but I think he may be also the assistant in Hershey too as well. We had James Reimer, who's played in Toronto, I believe, too as well. A lot of really good guys, a lot of talented guys, and what a fun team, man. Yeah,
he ended up going to Detroit too, right?
Reimer
wasn't Reimer in Detroit too?
He may have been. I'm not 100%.
You're thinking of Jonathan Bernier.
Okay,
maybe that's who it was.
Yeah. I know Reimer's had a really good career, and he's kind of been in a few different spots. I haven't followed it that closely.
I think after Toronto, he went to San Jose.
Yeah, could be. So, but yeah, man, we had a fantastic team, and our coaching staff was incredible. And Jared's a good friend of mine. He was the coach for me. My first, I played down here for 7 seasons. I want to say my first 4 or 5 years. So, he's a good friend of mine, and to see all the success he's had definitely does not come as a surprise. And he's one of the best guys that I've come across in this game. Same with Cale McLean. He was one of my best friends when we were playing together, and to see the success that he's had, definitely doesn't come as a surprise and could not happen to a better guy.
So what did you
That's
guys
so
do to
cool.
celebrate?
Well, we had a nice red eye flight from Alaska because that's where we won it. So we took the red eye that night, traveled from Alaska to Charleston, which is, believe it or not a short trip. And I don't think anybody slept for probably 48 hours. So when we got back into Charleston, the fans were all there waiting to greet us at the airport, which was incredible. We went from there to the rink downtown to the next like night or so was a little bit of a blur. And it seemed like the celebration may have it felt like it took a little time off my life just because if you go that hard, it's just like, man, but it was awesome, man. It was such a fun experience.
I did that last weekend.
Some people call that a Tuesday night, right? Yeah. So.
Rob, I did that last weekend, minus the Kelly Cup.
Yeah, minus the cup. No, I had cups up in front of me all night.
Right. But yeah, man, it was awesome and such an awesome experience, and to win that with your brothers is awesome, man.
That's so cool. Like, so can you tell us like if you had to change anything in like any rule in the NHL, what would you change?
Oh gosh, I mean, I honestly, I don't follow it that closely. I know the instigator rule has always been a big controversial.
I say that too.
Subject, and it, depending upon where you lie on that, you can see from both sides. The game is it's so different now, right? It's the skill level is so high. They're so fast, they're so big, they're so strong. Injuries do happen. It's obviously part of the game. To be honest with you, I'm not sure which rule I would change. I think guys should definitely be, I think the guys should be there should be a little more free reign to police themselves as far as how the game used to be. Maybe not to the point where, you just have two guys who are just going out there and their sole position, their sole job is to fight, but guys need to be held accountable at the same time.
Right.
Just not having to answer the bell for something that, you may or may not have done. I think that's kind of it. I don't know a particular rule that I would personally change, but I could use a little more grit in the game, and a little more accountability, and guys just to play a little tougher. The skill level is fantastic. I love watching the guys and how talented they are. I'm old school. I like the physical game. I like the, I still love the fighting. I know there's not much of it in the game, but anytime you see a fight, regardless, guys are always, they stop what they're doing and they're watching that, right? So that's the one portion of the game that I do miss. And
even the big body checks are gone,
yeah.
They're here and there, but then
Yeah.
it's like, oh, is it a penalty? Like, oh, is it a suspension now? Oh,
Right.
It's like you see a lot of guys just wheel off, and instead of before, you're taking that guy through the boards and he's peeling off the boards and you're skating away.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's still a clean hit. And now if he don't like it, or somebody on his team doesn't like it, you're answering the bell because you threw a big body check like Cam Jansen used to do all the time.
Right.
But he could go throw those hits because who's coming to talk to him?
Exactly.
Right?
So I think you still need that. You still need to have, I think it's important to have a guy on your end of the bench who can, strike a little fear in the opposing team and say, if anybody's out here to fuck around, you're going to have to answer to me.
Right.
It'd be nice to have some more of that. But again, the skill level is incredible. And, the game changes and evolves, just like societies in general as a whole has gotten soft. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, I agree.
The game of hockey's
Parenting has. Right.
Everything has gotten.
I used to get the wooden spoon. Now I take my phone away.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
My mom would break the wooden spoon over top of my fucking head. And now I'm like, no more PlayStation.
Yeah. Exactly. No more social media. No more Instagram.
Right.
You're grounded.
Cut up. You suck. I can't believe you're doing this. You're ruining my life.
Yeah. Before
you could just take a licking and go, man, I'm not doing that again.
you get a boot in your ass, and it kind of puts things in perspective. So
you don't even send kids to their room anymore because there's so much technology in there.
Right.
You send them to your room.
Yeah,
you're going to my room.
That's a good one. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I seen was it 2011? You went into the South Carolina Stingrays Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah. I was very honored by that. I had spent 7 seasons here. I didn't expect that, nor do I think I was worthy of it, because I was just a guy who showed up and did his job every night. I didn't do anything flashy. If I needed to protect my teammates, I protected them. If I needed to fight to get our team going, I fought. If I needed to block shots, I blocked shots. If I needed to be a leadership guy on the, on the bench or in the locker room, that's what I was doing. So, do I think I was deserving of that? I don't. I take it as a huge honor, though. I was very, very humbled by that. I was very appreciative by that. And, it's funny, like some of my neighbors, have been to the Coliseum and watched games, and they're like, they've come back and we've been talking. They're like, holy shit, dude, we saw your name in the rafters. And I was like, don't misconstrue that. I wasn't the guy that you probably think I was out there. So, no, it was awesome. It was such an awesome tribute to an amazing organization that I was fortunate enough to spend so much time with, and then I now call Charleston home. And it's a huge honor, and I'm very proud of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Nate, would you call it a blue collar town where you live? Yeah.
No, I would call it I don't know what you would call it. I wouldn't call it a blue collar town. It's there's a lot of old money in Charleston. There are definitely blue collar people everywhere where you go.
It's very rich in history, that's for sure, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think people take a lot of great pride in being from this place, and there's so many transplants like myself from different areas that have made Charleston home. It used to be a bit of a hidden gem. Now it's full blown, like, this is a great spot to be, and so many people have migrated down here, and the building and the development down here just continues to go, which I think for a lot of local people, may or may not rub them the wrong way, because it's taken away from some of the culture down here. But at the same time, like, this place is so amazing. The people, like, you get Southern hospitality. If you've never been down south, like, people say hello to you in the grocery store. They'll just come up and talk to you. Downtown is super cool. It's very historic. It's got a little bit of everything. Beautiful golf courses. Like I mentioned before, the beaches are incredible. We will never leave this place. It is amazing. It's
awesome.
Such a great, my boys are so fortunate to be able to grow up down here and call this home.
That's great.
Hey, how did you end up in the mixed, like, martial arts? Like, how did you end up getting into that?
6 months after I retired from hockey, I found myself just continue, like, going to the gym that's been my thing ever since I can remember. That's my daily routine, regardless of, it doesn't matter, even to this day. Like today, I was fortunate enough to get 2 different training sessions in. I was able to grab a lift at 4:30 this morning, and then I trained jiu-jitsu this afternoon. Doesn't happen like that every day, but I will get to the gym every day. It doesn't matter if it's 4:30 in the morning or if it's 11 o'clock at night. It's like it's my therapy. It's what I have to do. My wife is exactly the same way. She's a machine. But I went into I was always a huge MMA fan. I followed the sport. I was just a huge fan of what those guys do. It was always super entertaining. I went into a local gym, walked in one day, met the owner, and said, I would like to fight one day. I have no experience whatsoever in any of this, but I'm willing to work harder than anybody in order to do this. And, the gym owner, Matt Robinson, knew who I was because he used to go to Stingrays games, asked me to come in a couple nights later, and we started working from that point, and fell in love with it immediately. It became an obsession to me. And when I say I have no background, I mean, I'd never wrestled a day in my life. I had no jiu-jitsu experience whatsoever. I had never kickboxed. I had never been kicked in the leg. I had never been kicked in the calf. I've never
really hurt.
Yeah, if you've not experienced that, you have not lived until somebody has laid their shin right across your thigh, because it'll put shit in perspective pretty quick.
It'll make you cry.
Oh yeah.
You cry.
So yeah, I just fell in love with it, and I was willing to work as hard as I can. I literally trained twice a day. every day with the exception of Sundays. And, from jiu-jitsu to wrestling to kickboxing, throwing knees, elbows, everything. I had none of that. And I just worked my ass off, and I was willing to do it. I was willing to put in the work. I just would work as hard as I possibly could and would not stop. So yeah, that was how I got involved with it. And I just got hooked, and it was a many long conversations with my wife. My wife thought I was fucking crazy. She was like, I'm not supporting you do this, Nate. This makes no sense.
I'm not going to any of your fights.
You used to get punched in the head, and I know that was part of your job, but do you see what these guys do in this cage? And you're telling me this is what you want to do? And I'm like, this is what I want to do. And I remember she gave me an ultimatum at one point, because I wanted a motorcycle for the longest time. I've definitely changed my outlook on motorcycles. I still love them, but I've had some people that I've known that have had some bad accidents, and there's a lot of bad drivers out there, right? So she said, you can get a motorcycle or you can fight in MMA one time. And I said, I'll fight. And so we made a deal, and she said, I agreed, fight one time. It was on my 31st birthday. I didn't start training until I was 30 years old. So I trained for well over a year before my first fight, and that's not even close to enough time. There's so many different variables that you have to learn, and had my first fight, and I wound up fighting 8 times before my first son Jackson was born, and that was an agreement. Like I had to beg my wife to let me fight the first time, and then every time after it was kind of like my addiction to tattoos, which I'm pretty heavily covered. I tell my wife, this is the last one, right? And I've said that about 500 times. Kind of the same thing with MMA. I just have this very addictive personality, and she didn't understand it at first, as far as, why do you want to do this? It doesn't make any sense. And then when she saw how much went into it, it was very difficult for her to watch, don't get me wrong, but she had a newfound respect for the sport and what amazing athletes these guys are, and how much dedication it takes to do this, and what exactly all goes into it. So, my last fight, she was 8 months pregnant with our first child, and that was tough for her. I remember we were traveling up to weigh-ins, and she was in tears on the way up there. She was just crying, because obviously being pregnant, you're very emotional. And, she's just like, Nate, I don't understand why you continue to do this. And I said I love it. And as hard as it was for her, that's the type of woman that she is. She supported me. So she would be in the front row, and she would support me no matter what, win or lose. She was always the first person who would come and give me a hug. And don't get me wrong, my buddies did a great job of getting her in a pretty good mood prior to the fights. They would party pretty hard before the fights, and we always had the biggest after parties. That goes without saying. And but yeah, my wife is, anything I've done in life, she has been my support system. So we do it together.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because I saw one of your MMA fights. It was like a 30-second fight where you end up knocking the guy out, the hometown guy.
Yeah. So, and that fight, that was scary at the end of the fight, because it was a bad knockout. Like he was unconscious for a while. He wound up getting stretchered out, and he was a military guy, and, caught him with what we call just kind of like a fade hook. Like you step off to the side and throw this hook. It was something that we had worked on all camp long. It was just, when you're fighting, there's so many different variables, angles, footwork, making sure that you're out of range as far as somebody coming at you, and you're in range, you're in and out. There's technically so much that goes with it. But anyways, this fade hook was something that we had just drilled. And I threw a 1-2 that landed, and he threw a counter. I was able to step off line and catch him with the hook, and he went down. And it's my job, and what you do is you train until that referee pushes him off you. Your job is to finish him, and just knee on belly, and started raining down hammer fist. And I was happy to get the win, but after the win was over, that's when you're back to being human again. And when you see your competitor across the cage from you, and he's unconscious and he's not moving, and they're stretching him out, it's never an awesome feeling, because you're there to win, and you know what you sign up for.
But he would have done the same thing.
Would have done the same exact thing, and that's what we sign up for. And
so the fight stopped. So if anybody, you put it on the ref. You didn't get in there quick enough, right?
Yeah, and
get a little bit closer.
Things happen so quick, right?
Right,
He was
sure.
out after that left hook, and my job is to follow up and finish, and that's what I did. And I had a couple knockouts that were like that, and that were scary from that aspect. But at the end of the day, we're all competitors. We all know what we sign up for. We're both at risk of that, and that's what we're fully aware of, and that's why we train so hard too, as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So,
yeah. Last freaking thing last thing I actually have written down here, but I just want to know, you said you don't really follow the game too much, but if you had to pick right now, who's going to win the cup?
I'm going to go with Colorado Avalanche. I know Jared Bednar being such a good friend, them having, I just know how intelligent of a mind he is and what he gets out of his players. And I know they've had successful years, and I think they've done a good job as far as their roster goes. And if anybody can get the most out of their players, it's him. So again, I don't follow it that closely. I couldn't tell you who is where positionally, but that would be, that would be my guess. Now, if you're a gambling addict, please do not use my information.
Bro, they're not even in the playoff.
Your money on. Do not do that. But that's what I would say. I don't think Detroit's. I don't think we're close to a Stanley Cup anytime soon. We're still in a bit of a rebuilding phase for
another 5 years.
Yeah, but we've got good guys in there. We've got Yzerman, we've got Lidstrom, and just like any franchise, it's a process. So yeah,
Yzerman, Lidstrom, Draper, McCarty, they're all part of the system.
Yeah.
As soon as we fire Shanahan, where do you think he's going?
Straight to Detroit.
Oh man, Toronto, that's a tough market. Gosh,
it is. Nobody wants. Who would want to play there? Like one game you're a +1, but why didn't you do this? And why didn't you do that?
Yeah.
Like look at Brian McCabe. He was one of the best defensemen in Toronto, and he gets booed out of and they trade him. And then he goes and plays for Florida or something, and fucking lives the high life.
Yeah, it's wild what it does. Playing in that market can do to guys, and just the amount of pressure that's there. I remember growing up, Larry Murphy, who used to play in Toronto, and then wound up going to Detroit, and they would just boo the shit out of him all the time. And
he was a hell of a defenseman when he came from Pittsburgh or something to Toronto, and then he didn't play very well. Okay, well maybe you didn't want to be in Toronto because you're under the scrutiny all the time. But then he goes to Detroit and has like an outstanding career, to finish
wins like 3 cups.
That's terrible.
That's good, I guess.
And then people are like, "Oh, why didn't you do that in Toronto? Why didn't you pat him on the back a little bit? Like maybe he would have played better and not have to worry about getting bitched at, or I don't know."
Yeah, tough market, comes with a lot of pressure, but at the end of the day, these guys are all professional athletes. They they make a very good living, and take
it with a little bit of sandpaper, right?
Yeah, they're fortunate enough to do something that most people dream of, so they're
absolutely okay. Playing a kid's game.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, most of those guys in the league are kids nowadays. You know what I mean?
I don't even know if the guys talk anymore. Maybe they just text each other.
Well, before, like when, let's say Pronger or you or you're done a game and you got a 6-pack in your stall. These guys got freaking crushing smoothies in Nativia.
It's
gonna take a big dump after I'm done this.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know what? Like if you listen to any of these other, I don't want to name drop any of the other podcasts, but like if you listen to I always enjoy listening to the older guys' stories because they, they just tell you the old school stories. You go to practice and then everybody goes to the bar afterwards. You hang out, you drink, and that's that team camaraderie. You get that from that. Nowadays, it's the guys go back to their apartment or their house and
they throw on the headsets and they play video games and they talk that way.
Yeah, put on the Oculus and they're playing, all that shit. And
walk into walls. How'd you get hurt? Tripped over the bar.
It's a different world, a different game, and just a different time in general. So.
All right, Nate, before we let you go, this has been an awesome interview, and I loved having you on. I'm so glad I Bob Murray, I saw your name on there, and I clicked on it and send you a messenger, and you responded to it right away, and you said you'd be honored to be coming on, and
Yeah, man.
It's just been a fantastic interview, and I'm
Yeah.
so glad you gave us the time and giving back to the hockey world, you know.
Well,
But my question,
I appreciate you guys having me on. It's hockey just seems like it was a lifetime ago for me. So anytime I get to, sit back and talk about my hockey career, which I don't think about all that often, is always a treat for me. And I appreciate you guys having me on, and much continued success to you guys. I hope you guys keep crushing it with the podcast, and I'll do whatever I can to definitely push it and steer people your guys' direction, and keep doing it, because it's such an amazing game, and it's brought so much into all of our lives, right? It's been such a big part of our lives, and it's the greatest game in the world without question to me. So you guys keep crushing it. You guys keep doing your thing, and having these guests on and just promoting the game.
yeah, because you guys we've had so many amazing guests, but okay. So two questions.
Yeah,
If you know how baseball players have the walk up song and like, so if they took out the horn and played your goal scoring song, what song would they be playing when you scored that goal off the dasher into the off the net into the guy's chest?
So I had one song, and it was my walkout song when I fought in MMA, and this probably doesn't apply to ever scoring a goal. They would never do anything like this, but it was a song. I'm a huge Eminem fan. Growing up in the Detroit area, Eminem was my guy. It's in fitting fashion. It's called "Go to Sleep." It's a pretty dark, violent song, but I listened to it. Literally, my trainer before every hockey game would blast it in the training room. He would stretch. We would do the same stretch to it every single game, same routine, always blast that song. That was always my walkout music when I was fighting in MMA too as well. And that's just a song that just was applicable to me, to get me in my mind frame as far as where I was at. And I just loved it. Yeah, it got me pumped up. So if you guys get a chance, it's Eminem, Obi Trice, and DMX. It's
yeah, I've heard that song. It's awesome.
It's a pretty awesome song.
Yeah.
Now if you're sitting there having a family meal, probably not what you want to hear on Alexa, but if you're getting ready to do some shit where you get to smash some people's faces,
you don't know my family.
It's not something that I've been. Yeah, it's not something me and my boys listen to on the way to the park. But
yeah. As soon as they go to bed, you're just like, oh.
yeah.
So my last question to you is, if you wouldn't have played hockey and professional hockey, what would you have done?
I would say MMA is my passion. I still love it to this day. That's why I still train. I fell in love with it immediately, and it wasn't just the fighting and stuff. The biggest thing. So when I retired from hockey, I didn't necessarily miss playing the game, because I was fortunate enough to play that since I was 4 years old. It was being around the boys, your teammates, traveling with the guys. These guys are essentially your brothers. You spend more time with them than you do with your actual family during the season, right? Mm-hmm. I missed that. That was what I had missed the most. When I was fighting, I developed the same thing. The guys that my coaches, my training partners, it was a team. These guys are your brothers. I would corner them for their fights. They would corner me for my fights. So yeah, I would say MMA. I'm so passionate about the sport. I'm such a fan of the sport, and I love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Nate, this has been awesome, man. Thank you so much. Stay in touch, man, and just good luck moving forward, buddy.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys. You guys, again, much continued success to you guys. Keep crushing it. You got a fan for life with me now. Awesome. I'll definitely be tuning in and supporting you guys as much as I can.
Yeah, whoever you can send our way, shoot me a messenger, and we'll get them on for sure, because I know you know a bunch of beauties.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a bunch of great guys. And that's the thing about hockey is you don't come across too many guys that aren't good guys. Usually all the guys are really good dudes, solid dudes. And you definitely come across your share of beauties. That's for sure. So
that's awesome.
Love it. Thank you, Nate.
All right, guys. Have a good night, guys.
Thanks, Nate. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And there he was, Nate Kiser. This guy has fought everybody, I think. There was a lot. I watched one. He fought, I think it was Cam Jansen when they were playing OHL, and he fought Jansen twice in the same game and like dropped him twice. Like, My
He's a bad boy.
God. Yeah, he's a bad mofo. So he played lots of hockey too.
Not only that, being an MMA fighter too. He had like a 30-second fight where he just destroyed the hometown guy.
Yeah, he's a tough guy, man. So big shout out to Nate. Thank you for stopping in and talking to the boys. And
great guy. Awesome. Dude.
Good luck to him. So this Leafs goalie, this new guy comes in, like where the fuck did this guy come from? All of a sudden he's wearing the red like Superman cape right now. Speaking of up in your background there, Superman comes in. Leafs are kind of struggling a little bit. This kid comes in. Not only does he get his first NHL win, he gets his first shutout, and he's the first star of the freaking game. And
he gets to start over Mrazek.
Yeah. What's his name? Is it Kilgram or is that what it is?
Say it.
Colgram? Sorry, I'm not good with names either. So dash one on Ant. But yeah, this kid came in, fucking stood on his head, was unbelievable. So what do you think on him so far, Rob? It's got to be a nice little start to an NHL career.
I was impressed. Like I watched some of the saves he made. He double stacking the pads. Like solid kid. Like and he's a young kid too. I couldn't tell you how old. Couldn't tell you how old he is.
Yeah, he is young. I know that. So I was like, sweet though. What a way to start a career. So good luck to him and congrats. Couple things on Dallas. You said there was that the one Dallas goalie made a sick save.
Yeah.
Is it like save of the year candidate?
100%.
Was it Hope? Was it Holtby?
No. What's his name? Ottinger.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
There's a shot from the point and Nylander flips the stick out and he's coming across the net. Sorry, he's coming across the net this way and Nylander tips it to the other side and he just flips the glove out and totally octopused it. It was unreal. Unreal.
Yeah, I didn't see the game, so
probably one of the saves of the year. Check it out on YouTube when we're done this.
I'm definitely gonna check that out.
You'd be so impressed, especially when they slow it down.
I'm also on Dallas. Hudobin is out for 6 months. He just had hip surgery, so that's gonna put him down, obviously, for playoffs, everything. So
that's gotta hurt them, eh?
Oh yeah. What I would think too is the hip surgery. That's got to be a big recovery too.
So that Eric guy, but after he won that game, got first star and all that stuff, he went into the locker room and they all jumped him and freaking did the water thing. It's so cool when they do that. Yeah. Like he couldn't remove the smile from his face. It was awesome.
Yeah, he looked.
I love that shit. Yeah. It's like when the rookie takes his lap by himself. Like it's just so cool.
It's always funny too when they make the guy do the lap by himself, but he goes out there, no lid. Hair flowing, normally they say an unwritten rule between the players in the NHL is you have to play a certain amount of games before you can go without your lid in the warm-up.
Your rookie one, I'm sure you can.
But now they make you do it for your rookie lap
because the boys love the flow.
Oh yeah, you got
all these young kids. They got incredible hair, all sticking out the ear holes and shit.
Oh yeah,
it's awesome.
Just mad flow. I could never.
It's like their heads are on fire.
Yeah, I could never grow fucking hair like that. I'll tell you that.
I could.
I know you've seen it. Well, we've seen it on the show. Remember when you
I grow up for the playoffs again?
Oh, you're doing the mullet?
Fuck yeah, why not?
Do it.
What do I got? 2 months? I got 2 more months.
Yeah. You got about 20 to 30 games left, probably.
Yeah, and the trade deadline comes up next Monday, right?
Yeah, trade deadline is Friday. On Monday. Yeah, so everybody keep an eye on that. Trade deadline is on Monday, the 21st. Is the trade deadline. So
it sucks anymore, though. You know what I mean? Like most good moves are made before the trade deadline anymore. Like those poor bastards that got to sit at TSN and ESPN and Sportsnet. They're all they sit there for 15 hours and hey, did you get anything yet? Hey, did you get anything yet?
I guess the one year they went like 5 hours between trades.
Yeah. Like, what do you talk about?
I guess they just talk to guys who have been traded and they do a whole bunch of panel shit. But yeah, it's hard to fucking, and they say who's hot and who's on the board or whatever, a whole bunch of shit they do. But
right. Well, before the salary cap, you know what I mean? It was
bing, bing,
it was
bing,
a
bing,
frenzy.
bing.
Like
it was a zoo.
You couldn't keep up with it. Like those were awesome days. Like I remember taking a day off, like, and sitting at home and watching it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's crazy, dude. Fuck. Last note, kind of, where we talked about a lot last episode, so there wasn't really a whole lot that's happening between Thomas Hurdle. This guy signs a 8x8 with back in San Jose. I kind of figured he'd be back in San Jose, although there was other teams looking at him. So I'm assuming obviously San Jose probably obviously wanted to re-up him, right? He's a big piece too.
And why wouldn't you want to stay in San Jose?
Yeah, like California weather. And when that building gets buzzing, man, it gets fucking hopping, that building. But they just got to get it. I don't get it. Like they have like Burns and Carlson and Hurdle and was it Couture, right? Logan.
Right.
Like they have fucking so many good players. Like I don't get how they're not a good team.
No, I don't either. But you know what's kind of crazy though? Like I don't know how his contract is structured, but like he's kind of a kid right now, 28 years old, but
yeah,
and that's 8 more years, right? So that puts him at 36.
Yeah. Math guy, Rob.
That's kind of a crazy contract.
Yeah. Yeah. That's you got to think.
Usually guys are looking for 5-6 years, right?
Yeah.
But maybe they gave him 8 so they could spread it out.
Mm-hmm.
And near the end of his career, he's tradable.
I think a guy like that, it would have been, I think a 3 or 4 year deal would have been suitable.
Yeah. Well, excuse me. Most players are looking for 5, right?
Yeah. Well, even then 5, that would only put him at what, 33?
Right. That I see.
Yeah.
But like 36.
Yeah. That's
you're on the outer end of your playing career.
Yeah. You're on the back 9 there for sure. For sure. Yeah. So, well, good luck to him. We'll see what happens. And everybody.
Absolutely. Great contract.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Great agent.
Getting paid. Also, so everybody, reminder, Monday the 21st is the trade deadline. So if you guys want to keep an eye on that, you can keep an eye on that as well. Which moves us on to our last little segment of the show, the Beaut of the Week. Rob, do you know who your Beaut of the Week is going to be?
Yeah.
Fire away, buddy.
Yeah, 673s.
You fucker. You took mine. I was going to use them too for the sweep.
Muffin.
Double buttes.
Yeah. I get the double Beaut of the Week.
There you go. You guys with your sweep, you got us both Beaut of the Week.
Can't wait to see the next round start, man.
I know. I'm fucking I was hoping that I was going to get a game of this round, but remember we talked last episode and I was like, "Oh, we'll get a game." And I'm like, "Oh, never mind. They're probably going to sweep." So they swept. So I want to if we can get an afternoon, like a Saturday afternoon game or something, I want to try to bring the boy with me and see how he does during the game. At least if he doesn't do good, we're close. I can just bring him home and come back.
E-Train is an animal. You're going to be at the snack bar the whole game.
I know. That's why we're just going to have to load up at the snack bar and then go sit out at the
stuff him in a chair and just let him fucking feast.
Oh yeah. He'll munch away. So,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nachos.
Oh yeah. Nachos.
Popcorn.
Oh yeah. He'll be
French fries.
Oh yeah. He'll be all.
That arena smelled so good on Sunday. All the French fries and gravy, or French fries and vinegar. It was just incredible.
Yeah.
I just love this smell. They should make an aftershave like that.
Then all you'll want to do is eat all day.
No.
That's I would.
Fucking eat me.
I'm a fat guy though. Fuck, man. Every time I step on the scale, I see a different number. It's never
one
lower.
At a time.
Yeah, it's never lower. Put it that way. But all right, everybody. So until next week, Rob, we're signing off. We're out of here. See you.
Peace.
I've lost my